Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is, well, pretty critical. We are cracking the code on one of the most powerful, necessary, and sometimes, let's be honest, chaotic parts of being human, our emotions. This is essential stuff for anyone trying to navigate school, friendships, family life, basically, life. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Have you ever felt that sinking feeling where you know exactly what you're feeling inside, maybe intense anger, maybe pure relief that when you try to show it or say it, it just comes out wrong? Like you use words,
Yep.
but somehow you still end up feeling completely misunderstood.
Well, absolutely. It's that constant tension, isn't it, between what's going on inside and trying to keep it together on the outside. Our sources today, which we've gathered carefully for you, explore one of the most important life skills, how we can safely, respectfully, and crucially effectively express our feelings. It's really about building a better communication toolkit, one that goes way beyond just using the right words.
Yeah, exactly. We're diving into the whole spectrum: joy, sadness, anger, fear, embarrassment, relief, the big ones. And we're looking at why these feelings don't always translate cleanly. Culture, personality, the specific situation, they all change how expression looks. And the real skill, maybe, is recognizing that you actually get to choose the channel you use. So let's start with that toolkit you mentioned. Our sources point to four main channels we use, often without even realizing it, to communicate these powerful internal states. Think of them like four different broadcast systems your body runs whenever you interact with someone.
That's a great way to put it. The first two are probably the most obvious ones. First, we have, of course, words. That's the direct language we use to say how we feel. And then there's body language. This covers, well, everything nonverbal. Your
Hmm.
tone of voice, how you stand or sit, your facial expressions.
Hmm.
Huge communicator, that one.
Right.
But it gets really interesting when we look at the other two channels, the ones people maybe don't think about as much. Channel 3 is creative expression.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, this is things like music, art, writing in a journal, even physical stuff like running hard or playing a sport with intensity. It's how we process feelings in a less, linear way.
Makes sense. Like getting it out without having to talk about it directly yet.
Exactly. And the fourth channel, which can be incredibly powerful, is actions.
Actions. How so?
Well, this is how you respond behaviorally. Are you jumping in to help someone? Are you avoiding a situation entirely? Maybe cracking jokes to lighten a tense mood? Or just withdrawing? Actions definitely speak louder than words sometimes, but they're often the hardest to control when emotions are running high.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for you listening. Think about it. Which way do you personally use most often? Are you the person who blasts music when you're upset? That's creative expression. Or maybe you clam up and avoid eye contact when you're embarrassed. That's an action, right?
Mhm.
And which one feels like the hardest for you to get a handle on?
It's a great question to ask yourself. We found that a lot of conflict seems to pop up when people rely too much on just action or body language without the clarity that words can bring. So let's focus first on mastering specific language.
Hmm.
We know from, well, lots of behavioral psychology that using precise words helps prevent misunderstandings. It can really reduce the immediate heat of a conflict. The goal is to move past those two unhelpful extremes,
Mm.
either bottling up everything until you burst,
Yeah, we've all seen that.
or that instant exploding reaction that just pushes people away. Neither works long term.
And the key tool here, the sort of anchor for healthy verbal communication, is the I statement. It sounds simple, maybe even basic, but it's foundational and often misused. It shifts the focus dramatically.
It really does.
Instead of blaming, the classic, you made me feel X, it's about owning your own internal experience. It's like taking responsibility for your feeling.
And what's fascinating is the almost neurological angle to this. When you start a sentence with you, the other person's brain often just goes straight into defense mode.
Right, the walls go up.
Exactly. They stop truly listening and start preparing their counterargument. But if you open with I, you kind of bypass that immediate threat response. You're just describing your internal landscape, your feeling, which is, well, it's hard to argue with someone's feeling. It is their feeling.
Okay, give us some examples. How does this look in practice?
Sure. So instead of saying you never listened to me, which is blaming and pretty general,
And likely to start a fight?
very likely, you'd structure it.
Yeah.
I feel upset when my opinion is ignored. See the difference?
Mm-hmm. It's specific to the action and your feeling.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Or if you're anxious about something like a presentation, instead of just avoiding the topic or acting weird, you might say, I feel nervous when I have to present in class. It's honest and clear.
Okay, but let's be real. What if I use a perfect I statement, say it calmly, but I'm in a really heated situation? Isn't there still a risk the other person will just, escalate anyway?
That's a really crucial point. It touches on timing and maybe authenticity. I statements work best when delivered calmly, genuinely. If you shout an I statement, well, your body language channel is totally overriding your words channel, isn't it?
Yeah, the message gets lost in the delivery.
Completely. The sources emphasize this structure isn't some kind of magic spell. It's more like a commitment to clarity. By owning your feeling, you state your reality without attacking theirs. And that ideally keeps the door open for dialogue long enough to actually find a resolution. It's about de-escalation through clarity.
Okay, that makes sense. So moving from structured language, let's talk about that other big channel, body language, the silent signals. These nonverbal cues are critical, partly because they often leak out our true feelings before our brain's filter kicks in, right?
Spot on. We all know the basics, like someone crossing their arms might mean they're closed off. But the sources push us to look at the subtleties, and especially the conflicts between signals.
Conflicts, like saying one thing but your body says another.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the material even mentions things like microexpressions. These are super fast, involuntary facial movements that flash a true emotion, maybe fear or surprise, for just a fraction of a second before the person consciously masks it.
Whoa. Hard to catch those, I bet.
Very hard. But we do pick up on broader patterns. For example, consistent smiling paired with genuine eye contact, crinkles around the eyes, usually signals friendliness and confidence.
Okay.
But if someone's mouth is smiling wide, yet their eyes look kind of flat or cold, we sense that mismatch immediately. That's a conflict between their verbal friendliness and their nonverbal cues.
Yeah, you feel like something's off.
You do.
Yeah.
And conversely, avoiding eye contact, maybe slouched shoulders, that often indicates embarrassment, shyness, or maybe even feeling unsafe. It's a withdrawal signal.
So this brings up a really important question from the sources. Can body language actually lie?
Ah, lie is a tricky word here. It's maybe more about masking or choosing how you present yourself.
Okay, explain that.
Well, you might feel absolutely terrified walking into a new classroom or a party. Totally normal. But you might choose to walk in with your shoulders back, head up, maybe a calm, neutral expression. You're consciously using your body language to project confidence or calmness, even if internally you're shaking.
So your body language is successfully masking your fear in that moment.
Right. It's a chosen presentation. But, and this is a big but, misinterpretation is super common. If I'm just feeling cold in a room and I cross my arms tightly, someone else might read that as me being angry or defensive towards them.
Even though you're just chilly.
Exactly. Which is why simply reading body language in isolation is risky. It has to be paired with really listening to the words and the context. You need the whole picture.
Okay, let's loop back quickly to those other two channels we mentioned earlier, creative expression and actions. How do they fit into managing feelings, especially the messy ones?
Creative expression often acts like a pressure release valve. Our sources really highlight its role in processing feelings that aren't straightforward, like grief, or maybe just feeling really confused.
Things that are hard to put into simple words.
Precisely. Sometimes an emotion is just too big or tangled to fit neatly into an I statement, at least not right away.
Mm.
So journaling, drawing, playing music, it lets you safely get that emotional weight out of you without needing to articulate it perfectly to someone else first. It's like organizing the internal chaos before you try to communicate it.
That's a really useful way to think about it. And the action channel, helping, avoiding, withdrawing, you said those can be healthy or unhealthy.
Absolutely. It totally depends on the context and the intent. Think about withdrawing. If you step away from a shouting match to cool down or protect yourself from saying something you'll regret, that's probably a healthy action. You're managing the situation.
Setting a boundary.
Right. But if you withdraw from all your friends because you're feeling insecure or afraid they'll judge you, that becomes avoidance. And that can be really detrimental to your well-being in relationships. The key filter the sources give is simple. Is the expression both honest and respectful? Healthy expression needs both.
Got it. So unhealthy actions are pretty clear insults. Yelling, sarcasm that bites, obviously physical aggression. Those fail the respectful test immediately. But healthy expression, like you said, takes effort. So a healthy action might be seeking support.
Yes, or calmly stating a boundary. For example, instead of just silently fuming about being left out, a healthy expression using both words and action could be approaching the person later and saying, hey, I felt excluded when I wasn't invited the other day and I just wanted to understand why.
That takes courage, but it's honest and respectful.
It is. And if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, why does mastering how we express feelings matter so much? It's not just about being nice. It fundamentally determines the strength and stability of your relationships. When communication breaks down consistently, relationships tend to follow.
Okay, so to give everyone listening something really practical, something they can use right away, the sources offer this fantastic framework for deeper reflection. It works when talking to others or even just journaling for yourself. It's a three-part structure. When happens, I feel because.
Yes, and that because part. That's where the real magic, the real deep dive happens. It pushes you to look past the surface emotion, the anger, the sadness, and identify the underlying need or value that was stepped on, or maybe that was met.
So it connects the feeling to what's actually important to you.
Exactly. It connects your feeling to your personal values. Why did that situation trigger that feeling in you?
Let's break down those source examples again with that in mind. Simply saying, I am frustrated. Okay, that's a start. But using the framework, when group work is uneven, I feel frustrated because I value fairness. Whoa.
See the difference? Massive insight.
Yeah, it tells the other person why it matters to you. It's not just a random complaint. It's tied to a core value, fairness. Much harder to dismiss.
Much harder. And it works for positive feelings too. When I achieve my goal, I feel proud because I know I worked hard. This connects the positive feeling directly to your effort, which reinforces that hard work. This framework brings clarity for the listener, yes, but maybe even more importantly, insight for yourself.
That's incredibly useful. Now, reflecting on this whole process, we focused a lot on speaking, on expressing ourselves, but the sources rightly remind us that the other half of communication listening is just as vital.
Absolutely non-negotiable for strong relationships. Active listening isn't passive, it requires practice.
Yeah.
And the sources suggest a specific, powerful technique. Paraphrase back what you heard the other person say.
Like reflecting it back to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Saying something like, okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you feel you name the emotion you heard because you state the reason you heard.
Mm.
Doing that achieves two critical things. It confirms you actually understood them correctly, and it validates their experience. It shows you are truly listening, and that builds trust incredibly fast.
Man, that skill alone could probably solve a lot of arguments.
It really could.
Whether you're trying to sort out a problem with a friend or explain something difficult to a parent or navigate group projects at school, mastering I statements and that confirmation listening that's communication bedrock, it truly lasts a lifetime.
And maybe the ultimate takeaway, the core message from all these sources is this. You are allowed to feel any emotion. Anger, joy, fear, frustration, they're all valid internal experiences. You can't always control what feelings bubble up inside you. Maturity, skill, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, comes from choosing how you express those feelings externally. That's where your power lies. Let that thought really sink in. And maybe internalize this affirmation we found.
I can recognize my feelings, I can express them clearly and respectfully. You can go out there and start owning your feelings, and just as importantly, the way you choose to share them with the world.